Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. The news is not good this week, and we'll go into the various aspects of why it's bad and why it may be getting worse. Although I do think the Villages will do better than the real estate market nationwide for various reasons. The fact is that overall, the trends do not seem positive. First, I would like to point out that we do this show every Monday. Make sure that you check the date to ensure that you're getting the most recent information. Secondly, this information is all based on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service. Does not include any of the new homes or resales that are listed on the Village's own listing service, the VLS. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to look at is what's happening to interest rates. One can see that according to bankrate.com, the 30-year fixed mortgage rate is back over 6%, 0.75% higher than it was during the month of June, and more than double what it was a year ago. These rates do not include today's 10-year government bond auction, where the yield was the highest since April of 2011. So it does look as if the trend towards higher rates continues, and it's hard to imagine that that will be good for the real estate market. But let's turn our attention to what's happening in the Villages itself. We'll start by looking at total listings. Currently, there are 195 homes for sale in the Villages, down from 225 in the middle of July. Prices range in the Villages from 165,000 to 1,975,000. And if we take a closer look at this table, we can see in what price segments there are listings. Currently, there is one listing in the $100,000 to $200,000 price range, and in the most active price segment, the $300,000 to $400,000 price range, currently there are 70 homes for sale. Last week there were 71, the week prior to that 66, week prior to that 67, and the week prior to that 69. As we've grown accustomed to, most of the listings in the Villages are between $300,000 and $500,000. The listing price per square foot remains just barely above $270 a square foot. It has not decreased over the last 7 days, but we are at the low end of the range we've seen. Taking a closer look at how long properties are staying on the market, current listings have been on the market for over 40 days, the high end of what we've seen recently, and almost triple what we saw at the lowest point in April. Turning our attention to properties that sold over the last 7 days, they range in price from $244,000 to $1,225,000. There were 31 properties that closed over the last 7 days. This is about the same level of sales that we've seen recently. Looking at properties that sold in more detail, we can see that over the last 7 days, 16 of the properties that sold were in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range. Previous 7 days saw 14 sell in that price range. Prior to that, 10. 7 days prior to that, 6. And the 7 days prior to that, 9. Once again, almost all of the activity is in the $300,000 to $500,000 price range. If we take a look at how long it's taking properties to sell, the median time on the market for properties that sold over the last 7 days is back to almost 25 days, which is the highest level that we've seen versus the 5 days that it took in April. Looking at the price per square foot on properties that sold, we're back at the low end of the range. Over the last 7 days, the price per square foot on properties that sold is $251 a square foot, which is as low as we've seen since we started following this in early April. Looking at new listings versus pending sales, we can see that the numbers have come more into balance. Over the last 7 days, 21 new listings appeared on the market, whereas 24 properties went pending. Looking at the price segments in which we're seeing new listings, it's no surprise that the $300,000 to $500,000 price range is by far the most active segment. Over the last 7 days, 9 new listings appeared in the $300,000 to $400,000 price range. Previous week saw 8, prior to that 9, prior to that 5, and the week prior to that also 5. To me, the most interesting graph concerning pending sales is this, which shows the price change for properties that went pending over the last 7 days. This is a price change from the original listing price, and this week that number is 8%. Last week it was barely over 6, which means that of the properties that went pending over the last 7 days, the median price change from the original listing price was 8%. On a price per square foot basis, properties that went pending over the last 7 days had a listing price per square foot of $260.53, which is slightly down from where we've been seeing prices recently. Looking at the time on the market for homes that went pending over the last 7 days, the median time was 22 and a half days, which is more than double what we saw last week and getting close to the highs that we saw early in August. And the last two things we look at are what percentage of properties currently listed in the villages have a price decrease and how much is the price decrease. The percentage of properties with a price decrease from the original listing price is at a new high, and almost 56% of properties for sale currently have been reduced from their original listing price. A closer look at this data shows us that for all active listings on the MLS currently, the median is a reduction of almost 4.25% for all listings, including those that have had no reduction at all. So that concludes this week's look at the Villages real estate market. Once again, my name is David. I can be reached at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you have any interest in properties in the villages, if you're interested in buying or selling a property, or there's a property that interests you and you'd like an opinion as to its market value, please contact me at DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. I'll be happy to help you with any questions you have. Hope to hear from you. Take care.